One of the first things you're going to want to do is get into your trunk and relieve your negative battery terminal. Leave this off for approximately 20 minutes before you continue. Okay, so we made our way into the vehicle. We have our steering wheel. We gave the battery plenty of time, well over 30 minutes, just because that's the way we are. I'm going to come right underneath the steering wheel column here, grab this, and telescope this out as far as it can go. At this point, you're going to look right on the backside, and you're going to see a hole that has a 10mm headed bolt in there. There's one on this side, and there's also one on the other side of the steering wheel. Remove those. There it is. Do the same to the other side. Awesome. Now we're going to straighten out our steering wheel as straight as can be. This looks great. Carefully grab your horn pad. Remember that it has wires going into the back. And this is also your airbag, so you want to be very careful. Just take a peek behind here, and you're going to see some electrical connectors. We need to start relieving some of these electrical connectors. There's one. Okay. These ones are the ones that go to the airbag. You don't have to worry about remembering which one's which because they are clearly labeled. You're going to want to squeeze those two tabs. Before you go ahead and start messing with those though, you want to make sure that you've discharged any static electricity from your body. So just go ahead and touch the outside of the vehicle a couple of times. Anything metal, that'll discharge your static electricity. And then you're going to pinch this tab as well as the one on the other side. There we are. Carefully set this aside, put it face down like this, and make sure nothing electrical is near it. At this point, you're just going to grab this and slide it out so you can see. And then there's a little squeeze tab. Squeeze that and separate these two. Next, you're going to take out this 10mm headed bolt using an Allen head. Nice. Take this right out. Okay, so next we're going to pull the steering wheel off of here. You just want to be careful for these wires because they're going to go right through this hole. Just rock this back and forth. Go ahead and pull these out. Might just take a second, but just do them one at a time if you have to. Nice. So next we're going to go right underneath the column to this hole. To remove the bolt that's in there, you're going to use a T30. Pretty good. And that makes it so this can't spin and potentially damage it. At this point, just grab the whole unit and draw it away. Let's go to the bench. So now we're just going to come right in on the back side and we're going to remove the 3 Phillips head screws. Once you have all 3 of those screws out, carefully draw this out. So if you're going to be replacing this part right here, you're going to notice that it comes with this pull tab. But if you're not, and you're going to be reusing this, it's important to make sure that this cannot spin around. So what you do is you just take a nice wire tie, go right through that slot where that tab would have been, and just strap it in. That's going to prevent this from spinning. Let's finish removing this screw. Carefully grab this and separate it. Let's get this back in here. Line it up. Carefully slide it in. Install your mounting bolts. Once you have all your bolt holes lined up, go ahead and start them all. Make sure you start them before you tighten any of them down. All right, let's get this cover back on here. Make sure you put in your 3 screws. Perfect. Okay, so let's carefully get this back onto the steering column here. Just slide it right on in. Nice. Let's get these wires through the steering wheel hole. Okay. Now that we have that through, you're going to carefully grab this pin, or of course if you were reusing this from previous, you would just cut that wire tie and get it out of there. At this point, you want to be very careful not to spin that clock spring. We're just going to line this up. It can only go on one way, and then just go ahead and press it right down. Nice. Go ahead and grab that bolt. It's always a great idea to use a little bit of blue thread locker on this. Go ahead and snug it up. So once you have your blue Loctite and you have that snugged up by hand as tight as you can, I'm just going to grab this seat belt, go right around the steering wheel like this, and then we're going to torque that bolt to 52 foot-pounds. Tight. Get the seat belt out of there. Make sure you go ahead and tighten up this bolt under here. Let's get these reconnected. Once again, it's a great idea to make sure that you're completely static discharged. Touch that outside of your vehicle a couple of times. Once you know for sure you're good to go, grab your wires and start connecting. Go black to black, tan to tan. That looks great. Make sure you get this wire in there. And then of course this one under here. Be a little bit harder to get to. That looks good. Come right up in here, nice and easy, and line that up. Let's grab our bolts for behind here. Make sure you get these bolts in. If you need to, you can wiggle the horn pad around. Start them both before you tighten them down. That's nice and tight. Let's make sure the other side's tight as well. Now after you're completely sure that you've connected all the electrical wiring inside of that steering column, come back to your battery and get ready to reconnect. Tighten it up. Give it a wiggle. Nice.